go. The video we just watched is Chihayafuru, very popular anime series about the Japanese high school kids who passionately play Karuta. And actually, many of the new members to Murasame-kai started playing Karuta after they watched Chihayafuru and got totally inspired from it. And I have a few of them here today who will talk about their love for Chihayafuru and share their experiences of playing Karuta themselves. And after the panel discussion, we move on to the Karuta demonstration down there by two of the best players of Murasame-kai. Okay, so let's get started with the panel. Let me first introduce the panelists today. Danielle over here, who's been in our friendship circle for some time. I invited him many times to come play Karuta with us, but it was only after Chihayafuru anime started, he finally decided to join. And he came a few times, then he stopped coming after the anime series was over. And he started showing up again after Chihayafuru 2 started. So obviously, his motivation for playing Karuta is strongly tied with Chihayafuru. Okay, Danielle, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Daniel. What do you want me to say?
This is who you are.
Yeah, I'm Daniel. I live in San Francisco. I'm a freelance Japanese English translator. Translate manga and technical documents. And yeah, what she said.
Okay. Okay, and next to Danielle is Jessica. Jessica reached out to us saying that after she watched Chihayafuru, she's really wanted to try playing Karuta herself. Can I join your practice? And I said, of course. And there she is. And Jessica, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Jessica, and I'm 25 years old, and I'm a San Jose State student.
Okay, good. And the last panelist, Mark, who also reached out to us, saying that after he watched Chihayafuru, he really got into Karuta, got himself some cards and practicing by himself. But he's been hasn't been able to find partners to play with him in his area of Los Angeles. So can you help me? And I said, well, I don't really know of any Karuta clubs in LA, but we have this really cool event coming up in Santa Clara. Yeah, there he is. He came all the way for this show from LA. Mark, please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, as she said, my name is Mark. I work as a voice actor and an actor in Los Angeles. I also DJ and produce music on the side. I was a Japanese major from California State University, Fullerton, with emphasis in cultural Japanese and cultural linguistics. And yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, and I drove up here because I'm crazy. So.
All right, so let's first talk about Chihayafuru. I really enjoyed the show, but I think it's largely because I started playing Karuta when I was in junior high back in Japan as a part of the school program. So honestly, I didn't expect Americans would really enjoy the show without the same cultural background. And it's all about this traditional game and the classical literature, which is not exactly hip either. So I was pretty surprised to know that so many Americans actually love the show. So can you guys now tell us, what do you like the most about Chihayafuru, and what is so unique and fascinating about it compared to all the great animes? Jessica, you want to start?
Sure. So in Chihayafuru, I really liked not only the design of the characters, but I really enjoyed how each character had all these emotions. Chihaya, she's very ambitious, she's very optimistic, and then you have Oe Kano-san, and she's very poetic, and she's very friendly, and so you really get connected to all the characters in Chihayafuru. And without even really realizing it, you actually learn a lot about the game of Karuta throughout watching, both seasons. So.
Okay. How about you, Daniel?
Well, what I like is it's not just about the game, and it's not just a genre anime, it's not just a sports anime. It's got some romance, but most importantly, it's got really good characters. It's got Chihaya, who's so single-minded and believes in herself so much, like is able to push through like what she feels strongly about. And Tai-Chi, who we see in the beginning used to be really a jerk when he was a little kid, but now he like always feels this sense of responsibility to be a better person. And so you see like how Chihaya is really emotionally invested in Karuta, and everyone else thinks it's cool, but she manages to speak up for herself and what she believes in, bring other people to see what she sees, and it's very inspiring.
How about you, Mark?
I think for me, as the others mentioned, it's definitely a very big character-oriented anime, and that's typically what I look for in the anime that I watch. Excuse me, the anime that I watch. That was really what drew me in, but the more I started watching it, the more I realized how incredibly accurate a title it has, because Chihaya and Chihayafuru means basically full of passion or impassioned, and every character in the show is just so passionate about this game. They throw their entire lives into it. Some of them even sacrificing, dreams that they had when they were younger, or dreams that their parents wanted to have, and they're willing to, put up with a lot of struggle and a lot of difficulty in order to achieve something that they feel strongly about, and that's really what kept me watching.
Okay, well, thank you. And now let's talk about playing Karuta. You guys not only love Chihayafuru anime, but decided you're gonna learn how to play Karuta yourself. That's another surprise to me, because I watch all these great manga and anime about sports and games. Like, for example, Hikaru no Go is one of my favorite manga of all time. But it never occurred to me I'd actually go out of the way and learn how to play Go myself. So, and Mark, you drove all the way from LA today, so you can play Karuta with us. So I'd like to know what your drive is. What made you want to play Karuta so badly, and how it was like today you played Karuta for the very first time with other people, right?
Right, and lost tragically.
Yeah.
It's a tough question. It's when I first started watching the anime and I said, this is a really interesting game that they're playing, I want to look into it some more. And I started asking my professors at Cal State Fullerton, do you know anything about Karuta? Have you ever heard of it? And even my oldest professor said she had kind of heard of it, but didn't really know anyone who played it, didn't really know how it was played. And I thought that was such a unique aspect of Japan and Japanese culture that isn't fully explored even in Japan. There are a lot of people who don't know how to play Karuta, or just think of it, oh, it's that game you play when you're a kid. And they don't realize all of the poetry involved with it and all of the importance that it carries. I mean, this game has been around since Meiji era, even before that, I think. So it's probably the oldest, well, it's based on the oldest form of Japanese literature that we have, which is the Manyoshu, which is the first Batten and the Hyakunin show, which were the first poems that were written. And so, to me, it started off as just me wanting to explore that aspect of Japanese culture some more. And the more I got into it, the more I thought, I've got a bad memory, and this game focuses on memorization skills. So maybe I can help my brain a little bit by trying to learn some of the poems and learning how to play the game. And from there, it went on to, gosh, this is a lot of fun. So I picked up some cards, I started practicing on my own, and then as Noriko-san said today, I played my first few games with other people, and it's very exciting. I can sort of understand the passion that the characters in the show feel playing it, because you've poured so much time and effort into learning these poems, and you really want to make sure that you have them. And so when somebody takes that poem away from you, you feel kind of cheated. So you really wanted to, for me, I really wanted to do well. And so it's this constantly evolving experience for me that I really just didn't expect to grab onto quite as tightly, to a point where I would drive 400 miles to come play, but there it is.
But after you played for the first time with other people, did it make you feel more competitive? You want to practice more?
I'm hoping we can play more when we're done with the panel. So.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, Mark. Okay, how about you, Jessica? You came to our practice a few times, and how was the experience of playing Karuta from what you've seen, what you had seen in the anime Chihayafuru? Is it any different, or what you expected? What kind of feeling, sensation did you have?
So like in the anime of Chihayafuru, you can kind of see like through the characters that the game of Karuta is very mentally and physically exhausting. But like, as an audience member, you don't truly realize how tiring it can be. So when I was playing in Murasame-kai, and you're trying to memorize all the poems in front of you, it's actually it does get really difficult, and you start to feel that exhaustion coming in. I mean, each game, like a full-length game, is about 90 minutes or so. So you have to be able to stay in one position for that long, only thinking about memorization and where the cards are placed. So that for me was the hardest thing, was memorizing all the different poems. So I've had to start off memorizing like 25 cards first and getting those down, and then after that starting memorizing more and more. But yeah, that's been like the hardest part for me, but I'm trying to get better at that.
Okay. How about fun part? When you actually played,
Yeah.
did you get the kind of excitement and the sense of competition?
Yeah. So like in the anime, when like Chihaya gets her first card, she's very excited, and when I got my first card, it was actually really exciting. And so then you want to try to get as many cards as possible. And so it's kind of like what he said as well, where when you lose a card, you're just like, oh darn, like I don't want to lose any more cards. So you get into that competitive spirit, and you want to try to get as many cards as possible. So.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, Danielle?
So, as Noriko mentioned, she told me about this Karuta and her club since a while ago, and my first reaction was like, oh well, yeah, that's nice, game where you memorize classical Japanese poems. I'm not really that into the classical side of Japanese culture, and that's cool, but I never went. And then I heard about the Chihayafuru manga, and I was like, okay, that's nice. And the anime came out, and it's like, oh yeah, I hear this is pretty good. Well, I don't really have time for these sports anime, kind of. And then I read on the Anime News Network that Dong had these really gushing reviews of it. It's like, okay, I guess I need to watch this. And I watched it. It's pretty, wow, that's really good. So I guess I need to actually play the game so I know what they're doing here. So then I came to Murasame-kai, which, yeah. So I was pretty surprised. It really is a very layered game. It has a lot to involve you in. It's got, so I guess just from the description, it was obvious. It involves memorization. You have to look at characters and respond quickly. It's then, as you see in Chihayafuru, it's also physical. It's also kind of a sport. It matters how you move your body and move quickly and have the right form and so on. And then on top of that, let's see, there's also strategy that you see in Chihayafuru, where in how you place your cards and which cards you send to your opponent and what kind of psychological manipulation you do. And then something that you don't see so readily without playing it, I think, is that well, I guess this gets brought up in the anime, but then the poems, are beautiful in themselves. So you've got the whole mental thing going, and you've got the physical action, which is actually can be pretty adrenaline pumped, I guess. And then on top of that, you've got this layer of beautiful poetry going on in the background. So, if you're not doing one thing, then you've got something else going on. So it's a very total experience, I guess, very unique. I think of a lot of games like that.
Okay, and so you can now relate to characters in the Chihayafuru a lot more after you guys play, you think?
Definitely.
A little bit, yeah. I think they say it several times when you're watching the anime, when they go to a tournament, they say, you're playing 7 games and it takes all day, and as an audience member, you're kind of like, okay, well that's kind of, I don't really know how it could take that long, but okay. But when you play a full-length game, even when I was practicing by myself at home, I have my set of cards and I have a tape of a reader reading off the poems, and so there's only 50 cards on the field, but they read through 100 poems, and if that last card is the last card you need read, you've got to sit until all of those poems are read, so you're stuck there for, as you said, sometimes 90 minutes, and that's just one game. And in the tournament, they have to play 7. I only played 2 today, and I'm already tired, so it's yeah, I definitely relate.
Yeah, so you can see why Chihaya takes lots of chocolate, eats a lot of sweets after the last game, and kind of go up right after the game and wake up for the next. Yeah, that's very, physically exhausted, not just mentally. Okay, we have some time left, and if audience has any questions, you want to ask to these panelists, please feel free. Yes, please.
Okay, I have a 2-part question. Chihayafuru, who's your favorite character, and which character do you think your style is most like?
Everybody get the question? Yeah, okay, so you will need to know each panelist's favorite character and what was it?
What character are we most like?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Style.
Thank you. Yeah, so, okay, Mark?
I think my favorite character is probably Arata, just because he has so much character development throughout the series. I mean, you see him as a child, he's sort of a loner, he doesn't really fit in. And so the evolution of when he meets Chihaya and Taichi, and how they kind of break him out of his shell, and he's more interested in not only playing Karuta, but playing with other people. And then the jump forward when he's an adult and he's had, all the tragedies that have happened to him in his life, and especially in Chihayafuru too, you see he's willing to put himself past that and get back into playing Karuta again, just for the opportunity to play with his friends. And I think that's I think what makes him sort of awesome to me, because not a lot of people have that sort of inner strength to do that. As to the second part of your question, who I think I'm most like style-wise, nobody, because they're all extremely good and I'm terrible. But if I had to pick somebody, I'd say probably everyone calls her the queen, Shinobu, just because for me, as opposed to Chihaya, who has a few cards that she considers very special, to me, I hate losing a card. So even when I'm practicing by myself, if I forget what a poem is, and I literally take that card and I move it away from me because I didn't get it, and I force myself to suffer the fact that there's a friend that I just missed hanging out with, and now I have to push him off to the side. So that's probably where I would go with that.
So my favorite character would probably be Shinobu, because in the beginning when you meet her, she's very serious, she's very somber, and you don't feel like you can really connect with her. But then as the story goes on and you learn more about her, she's actually there's more to her, and she actually when you see all the snow model stuff, she has all the T-shirt with the snowman, and she has the little purse, and she has all these little things that she owns. She's kind of a fangirl in that sense, but she likes to have fun. She likes to compete with other people, but her teachers would say, "Oh no, you can't, because you're too good. mean, we want you to play against better people. We don't want you to play against people your age. So she never could really be friends with anybody. So I actually really like the development of Shinobu. As for who I play like most, I mean, I would give kind of a similar answer where I'm not very good, so I don't know who I would compare myself with, but if I had to choose somebody, it would, it would probably, because if I go with someone, it'd probably be Chihaya, because I do have the same kind of energy as her. I'm very like optimistic, I'm very like, just have energy going everywhere. And
Yeah,
so
I agree.
so as like, I mean, for playing style, like I'm also similar to you, where I, want to try to get as many cards as possible. And if I lose one, I'm like a little bit distraught, like, oh, I just lost a card. Okay, I can't lose anymore. So I kind of have a very similar drive to Chihaya, and the same amount of energy that she has when she plays. So that is my answer.
My favorite character is Chihaya. She's really inspiring to me because she knows what she wants and she knows how to take a stand for it. So I personally am kind of indecisive. I'm not always confident about what's the right answer. Am I right? Like, can I say this? So when I see Chihaya and like she is able to make decisions and she's not embarrassed to tell people, like, this is what I believe and this is why I believe it, and this is awesome and you should check it out. And like, that's something I want to emulate, I guess. I mean, then there are people, who will tell you what they think or what they like and won't shut up about it and be annoying. But I guess Chihaya can kind of be like that sometimes to some people a little bit, but she's pretty good at it, I think. I think she's a really good model for how you can, really express yourself, while appealing to other people. She's a really good leader.
Who do you play most like?
Oh yeah. I think I play most like Tsutomu because I'm very analytic.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Yes, please.
So with series like Shihayafuru, which focuses on Chihayafuru, which is Karuta, and I guess another example would be Koi from Summer Wars. Do you think there are other traditional Japanese games that would benefit from a series like Chihayafuru?
There are so many traditional Japanese games out there, and some of them I don't think would, because some of them are either too obscure or they're not quite played in that same sense of inner strength where their willpower defined. For example, there's a game, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's played with painted sticks, and you have to, it's kind of like what Pick Up Sticks is based off of, if anyone's ever played that game. It's very similar to that, and that kind of thing I don't think you could really make a Chihayafuru or Hikaru no Go kind of anime to, because I don't know, I mean, I guess you can animate really dramatically picking the stick up. It doesn't have that same passion, really, to totally use the name of the series in the answer. But I'm sure there are plenty of other games out there. I know there's another series that's going right now based on Mahjong that's picking up some popularity. So, there's all kinds of games out there that I think could. There's just a lot of games out there, so it's hard to sort of pick one.
Yeah, like I think the Mahjong one, I think it's Saki, but like, it's a game that you don't think would be that exciting just to watch it, but then you actually do watch it, and at least like the way they play the game and all the characters and their development make it interesting to watch. So, like, if they had an anime about some other traditional game, it might actually be more exciting to watch it than just playing it. So it really just depends.
And I think, no offense, Noriko-san, I know you really like Hikaru no Go, but for me, it didn't attract my attention quite as much because it's such a solitary game. It's something that, and Karuta has the possibility to go that way, but the way Chihayafuru presented it was all about I want to meet new people and play with them, and I want to have friends who also play Karuta so we can all get together and play Karuta. And that's, I think, what really drew me in, is the idea of using it to connect with other people that otherwise you might not. You know, Chihaya gets to play against people from all over the country in high school tournaments, and that's something I never even got to do. You know, I was in track in high school, so I raced against a few other schools, but that was basically it. She gets to play against everyone, just about. So it's this idea of using the game to connect to other people and bring people together that I think really attracted me to it as well.
And in real life, Chihayafuru anime has made a significant contribution to promoting Karuta all over the world. It's just amazing. At least, just in the United States, at least 3 new Karuta clubs started in the last 6 months. And in places like Virginia, Michigan, and Washington State, by Chihayafuru fans. And there are other clubs, you know, like older ones like us in San Francisco. There's one in Boston, Washington, D.C., and Toronto, Canada. But these are all started by us, the Japanese, who started playing Karuta back in Japan. But all these new Karuta clubs, all by Americans who just loved Chihayafuru. So this definitely this new movement of Karuta. Yeah, that's shaking the Karuta Association in Japan, actually. But it's really, really exciting. And Mark, are you going to start your own Karuta club in LA?
Well, it's funny because we were just talking just before this panel, and she mentioned that she knew someone else who had contacted her from the LA area, and I'm just thinking, like, can I have her email? Can I get a phone number or something? So I absolutely would love to start a club in LA, and if I could find more people to play with me, I absolutely would love to do it. I think Los Angeles is a very large area, and it's been surprising to me that I can't find anyone who wants to play.
And that's the same thing with me. I live like in the San Jose area, which has like, you know, over 1 million people. And it's really hard to find people who actually are interested enough to like learn to play and play competitively and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark, Jessica, and Danielle. And I also like to thank Crunchyroll for providing the video for this panel discussion. And you can watch Chihayafuru now on Crunchyroll, crunchyroll.com/Chihayafuru. Okay, so we move on to the Karuta demonstration now. And so the players in the back, please come out. And thank you
And
guys.
people should probably move
Yeah.
closer so you can watch the game that's going to be played right down there. So the closer you come, the better.
Yeah, please move all the way up to the front so that you can see it. And